Hey,
Hey everyone.
folks, I just want you can keep going. I gotta drop off for the next little while because I'm going to a SIG meeting. So we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you soon.
Battery 80%. Connected to Josh XPS.
Hello. Oh, did you guys hear me this whole time? Whoops.
I think so.
You heard me getting off my other meeting.
Hello.
Hi there.
Just giving a few more minutes for people to join. Right, we gave about 5 minutes for people to join. Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more TAG App Delivery meeting. I don't have slides today, so we can follow through the document. The agenda is pretty short today, so if anyone wants an opportunity to say something after we go through the topics, you can, I think. So should I share my screen with the doc? I'll do that. So today, 21st. First item in the agenda is the operator white paper release. So it happened on Friday. The article sent by, like, posted on the CNCF website. It's still open, like, of course, it's like a first version, let's say, but if people feel strongly that there's some change that should be made, please make a PR. I'm not sure if Thomas is there. Thomas, do you have anything to add, maybe?
I'm sorry, I joined a few seconds ago.
It's okay.
So I think you are talking about the operator white paper at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was we are out with the version 1 now. And if someone of you finds out that there's something missing, or we need another sections, just feel free to reach out and open PRs and so on, as the operator working group itself is about to be dissolved at the moment. So we will continue the work on the white paper in the TAG App Delivery itself. So if someone of you has ideas to improve the white paper additions, just feel free to reach out and open PRs.
Yes, thank you. And thank you everyone who contributed during all this time. It's been a long journey, but we are very happy. So thanks for all the collaboration, reviews, etc. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Proposal of the Cooperative Delivery Working Group. Updates. Maybe Alex.
Yeah, so the primary update is that it's ready for presentation now to the TOC. I was discussing with some of the other chairs here how we do that, and I believe it is opening up a PR in the TOC repository, asking for a slot to present, and so I'll do that this week.
Cool. Well, apart from this, there was nothing on the agenda, and I don't have any more updates. Does anyone have any update or some question or comments? So I believe we will have a shorter meeting this time.
I have a question about something that came up in the last meeting. In the last meeting, we talked about Potato Head proposal for Sandbox. I'm wondering what we want to achieve by going to Sandbox.
We would like to get more contributors to the Potato Head, but to be honest, I also don't know really much about the state of the Potato Head in the Sandbox at the moment.
I just wondered if that's because we were not going to see a real, like how we're going to measure real adoption of the Potato Head in terms of graduating it between steps. I guess that's the main question there. If we're not going to be stuck in Sandbox because we can't get adoption for something that is not a service or like real world application.
Yeah, so
If-
I can chime in and give you a little bit of context. There is a recording of this. We had a sandbox review in the TOC, I don't know, a week or two ago, something like that. We didn't get through all of the applications. There's a lot of them these days. But we did discuss Potato Head, and the general feeling was that it's a different kind of a project. It's not something that really would, what would it mean for it to get to incubation or get to graduation? And so the general feeling was that it's a very valuable effort. Everybody in the TOC likes the effort, but the general sense was it's probably not a sandbox project because of exactly what you just talked about, which is it's not something that people would embed in a system. What does maturity mean for it? When is it complete? It's not. It's a sample application. It's an ongoing. It's a valuable artifact, but probably not a
Content,
sandbox
really.
project. What's that?
It's more content than actual.
Yeah.
And
I think
something
there,
that this working group can continue to care for. Absolutely. Or I mean this this tag.
yeah, I think given what you're saying, and it might be that we as a tag need to understand how we want to use the wider CNCF to put more, to make it more visible, to make it more wider. So end user will know that there's the Potato Head, they can look at that. Maybe adding that to some proposals, so some areas that project can say in their proposal to sandbox or incubation. We integrated with the Potato Head, and everyone can see that example there.
Yeah. Yep.
If there was like a sandbox playground project, maybe we could combine that with this. Meaning, is there anyone trying to run like a Kubernetes sandbox on a browser or something and say, hey, we'll use Potato Head as your tutorial source?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. That's all for me on that topic.
I'm just adding some notes because how we would like potentially, did you say, like, so I understood you well, like potentially suggest it as a way for projects that are looking to graduate to have a sample application added to Potato Head as a step. It's like
It sounds like from what Cornelia said, sorry, that the TOC would not add it as a sandbox or incubation project because it doesn't fit the process we have right now for that. But it might be those places that we can use the TOC processes to have more people integrated things to the Potato Head. And we might need to understand how the CNCF can help us put it in wider audience, so more people will know there's a project like that and they can use it. That making sense, Cornelia?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, in Node, I'm just thinking about, there was a project called Canary in the Gold Mine. Canary in the Coal Mine, it should have been called, but the idea was that it was like a test harness where it's still there, I think. You can put your module in and it will make sure that it works with the latest version of Node or something like that. Maybe that's maybe that's what this kind of evolves towards. Like if you have a new deployment mechanism, add it to this. This is our standard test harness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that will be interesting to work with the TOC to understand if that's something that can be added to some procedures as a way to demonstrate the real use cases and help adoption rate. Yeah.
Yes, so this was one of the initial ideas of the Potato Head, to demonstrate lots of deployment mechanisms and other things, even as for the for the cooperative delivery working group and so on. We will also use Potato Head as a demonstration application. And therefore, I think it might be valuable. And one idea behind the sandbox application of the Potato Head was to make it more or less, let's say we wanted to provide a way where we can say, yes, we have a sample application provided by the CNCF, which everyone can use to either demonstrate capabilities or otherwise have a simple way to deploy a sample application, which is not really there at the moment. So this was one of the ideas we had with the sandbox application. I'm pretty sure even if we get to sandbox at one time, at a time, we won't graduate so fast. But yes, I think it would be valuable also for the CNCF and for us.
So I think we can, it sounds like we can put two KPIs around the Potato Head. One is to integrate more CNCF projects inside it. Like I know Alias did that before, just approaching them and asking them to add them. So that's one. And second, let's maybe approach more tags that might want to demonstrate like security or other tags that just want to demonstrate their capabilities with that Potato Head, making that wider tag effort.
Yes, it could also be a perfect sample app in the future for service meshes and so on. So
Yeah.
provide their capabilities. So the possibilities are endless.
Right. I didn't understand this, like for in some people's views, like it's not a suitable sandbox project, and then Thomas is saying that it might be still, like where is it hanging now? What's the status of the project with the application? Where?
Yeah, so it has not been accepted as a sandbox project, and at the moment, I don't think will be. It's always possible that there could be a discussion, but at the moment, did we outright reject it as a sandbox project, or did we agree to circle back with the tag? I don't remember, but it has not been accepted as a sandbox project.
I just think that if we, yeah, sorry, Jennifer.
So did it not fulfill some specific requisite that is on the documentation? Do you know?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's, to the letter something that was a lack of fulfillment. I mean, I think the application was fine, but there are some certain things where there is an expectation when something becomes a sandbox project that it's the first step. It doesn't mean that everything goes to incubation, but there's a vision of, okay, this is the first step, and then it will get to an incubated status, and then it will get to a graduated status. And that is something that we struggled with. We were like, what would it mean to have a graduated Potato Head project? And so it was more of a, is this the type of project that is suitable for, because it's not just sandbox. Sandbox fits in the context of this larger governance process, which includes incubation and graduation. And that's where there was, we're not sure what this means for this type of project. So it could mean a number of things. It could mean that this type of project is not suitable for that train, that sandbox, incubation, graduation. Or it could mean that we need to adjust our expectations. But given the expectations of the current governance process around projects like that, it didn't meet that criteria of, we couldn't imagine what it would mean for this to even be an incubation project. So there's nothing wrong with having experimental work and having you know, things like this. It's just not, at the moment, wasn't clear that it fits kind of the mold of what these types of projects that go through these stages are envisioned to be.
So
Thanks.
just a thought here. We can say that it graduates between steps. So the adoption of it is project that uses it to put their example there. And when we add more CNCF project, we can graduate in steps. But that's again only a thought around that, and it might be that the tag doesn't really need it in Sandbox. We need the exposure that Sandbox give us.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we might want to do that in other ways.
Yep. Yeah, which gets back to the question of what was the goal of getting it into Sandbox in the first place? If it was exposure, then yeah, as you just said.
Okay.
Um,
I put some notes here. If some people, if
yeah,
Omar
just
and Cornelia can take a look, maybe after here, like asynchronously, maybe inform if there's something missing. Sorry, Hong Chao.
yes, yeah, can you hear me? Great. So just sharing some thoughts on the potato project. Like from my experience talking to users, like most of the time they care about like end-to-end app delivery experience instead of focusing on like, yeah, I have a potato app and I have it running up. Like people want to see like how I can build the app, how I can like do a canary rollout and have a actually something running out and have all the matrix showing up. So I think like probably we can extend the project more like to be an end-to-end app delivery experience with like the matrix rules and all this kind of things, so that like, yeah, you can have 10 different like service meshes implementations, right? But like but instead of like saying, yeah, you have two replicas running up, like we can extend the project to be more like a end-to-end app delivery, like pipeline, and have like conformance testing, like showing up this thing is running great, and also like demonstrating your features into the pipeline. That would be a more like end-to-end like experience,
Yeah.
right?
So you're suggesting creating, like adding, enhancing the
extending the
potato head to have like a
end-to-end app delivery things, right? Like currently it's just like demonstrating like an app running up, but that would not like just from my experience talking to users, they want to see like more something that's more closer to the user, to developers, where what they do is actually have an app, have the code, and then they just want to deploy it and have something come running up and serving traffic, and everything looks great.
The only concern with that I can think now is like we would have to be opinionated about the way to deliver such thing, this end-to-end experience. I wonder, there are like several ways in the landscape to deliver things, so it would maybe like get it to another.
I see. But just like I said, yeah, you can have 10 different service meshes, like implement different features in between. But like, yeah, you can swap out. For example, for initially, like we can build it using like Istio. But if you want to swap it to some other service mesh provider, you can swap it and plug in your own features and demonstrate it that way. But like to users, it's more, like more end to end and more complete, and that would be a better like demo.
So besides the demo applications, we would have to have another section with like demo the deliver with this way of delivering, with that way of delivering that. So
but that's also inside our tax scope, right? We
yeah.
are talking about app delivery, not just like running up an app, right? Not just that if I want to run up an app, I could just use a container to run it up, or serverless platform to run it up, right?
True. Yeah, that would be like a growth of the project as well for
Sorry.
adding ways to deliver end-to-end experience. Okay. Sounds like a good idea. Would that be something that the working group cooperative delivery would like end up collaborating? You think like, because we are looking into ways of
Yeah,
bridging
that
the
would be great.
gaps, right?
Yeah, that would be a great suggestion too. Like, we can actually, along with the app delivery pipeline, like there's not only one web service app, but also like some data backends, just like putting up as well, right? Serving the storage.
There is already a branch open for a multi-service implementation of the potato head. Currently, we are playing around with tests and so on. But this it will definitely get more than one service in the future. And also, we plan to have stateful workloads in the future.
So I was going. Sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. That we might have enough people to do hands. So quick comment, Hong Chao, I think that's a great idea. And while you were talking, I went over into the Potato Head repository to see about a roadmap, and the roadmap is pretty thin. There's not much captured there, but I wonder if you can capture your idea in an issue. And then, that is kind of orthogonal to the whole creating a roadmap for Potato Head, but I would suggest that you maybe capture that in an issue in the repository. Good suggestion.
Of course. Yeah, sure.
We have discussions enabled in that repository.
Okay.
GitHub with all those your fancy tools.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Great. So yeah, we don't have anything else in the agenda. Thank you for like bringing this up. The potato stuff was very interesting, and I think there's a few notes and actions captured on the meeting agenda with some notes. Yeah, please. I mean, I didn't know about the discussions on GitHub. I'll take a look because I haven't looked at. But yeah, that would be good. We can start using that. Does anyone have anything else to say before we end the meeting?
I did have one question about the cooperative delivery working group. So one of the goals is to provide some examples on the Potato Head project. But my question is, isn't it too simple maybe for the kind of, the approach that we want to have, the bridging the gap between infrastructure as code and application delivery? Is there any actual need for infrastructure beside the underlying Kubernetes cluster for the Potato Head that we can leverage to create these examples?
I think that's a really good question. And yeah, we would probably need to grow the complexity of Potato Head by a degree. And we can do that, especially when we think about things like, state management, data stores, and ingress at the infrastructure level. So that's a conversation, and perhaps something we can tie into that Potato Head roadmap, and perhaps it could even be fuel for that roadmap, is to make it relevant to the work of the cooperative delivery group. But yeah, absolutely spot on for calling that out. Like in its current state, it is fairly simplistic.
But yeah, and if you have a use case that is more complicated or requiring infrastructure, that will be a good start to adding that. And let's spot the demand when we need it, and not try to anticipate what people will need from that Potato Head. That will also help to spot project or working group that are working on something that no one else is working, because if no one else had that, that's a greenfield to do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. we'll have a few more minutes back of your day. Thank you so much for attending and giving your opinions and comments. Have a nice week, everybody.
Thanks.
See
all.
you later.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thanks.